Asian net worth website.
Okay, now, did you watch the X Factor filing? I did. I went nuts for it. Do you know what? I kind of fell out of love with X Factor for about 3 or 4 weeks, where I just couldn't be bothered. And then the final and the semi-final, I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm back in again. Now, on Monday, I received an email from someone who I met a couple of years ago, and she said to me, were you aware that the finalists were wearing clothes that I designed? So I was like, oh my gosh. And then I forwarded it to Bill here, the boss man, and now this designer, this Asian designer, well, she's a fashion designer who happens to be Asian. Her name is Nikita Karizma, and she's sitting right in front of me. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, now, 2 years ago, I walked into your family shop.
Yes.
Looking for some clothes. And we got chatting, and I found out that I know your uncle very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And you were telling me about, you do fashion, and you're into that, and obviously you look very, very cool at the time. Tell me how you go from being a London College of Fashion student, which you still are.
Yes. Oh, no, I'm a graduate.
You're a graduate?
Just graduated.
Just graduated,
yeah.
Oh, right, in the summer, okay. A recently graduated fashion designer, to having your clothes in the final of one of the biggest TV shows in the UK.
It is a little bit of a Cinderella story for a young designer, involving a pretty pink tutu dress. I graduated this summer from London College of Fashion, which was an incredible experience at one of the top universities in the world. And when I was graduating, they have a profile of all the graduates online. And from midsummer till now, I have been getting a lot of press inquiries from editors of magazines. My work's been, flying around between different editorials. And the X Factor actually came across my profile online and started requesting my clothes for the show. But it was a few weeks until they really decided to work my clothing into the show. The clothes were requested for Gaga Week, they were requested for the semi-finals, but nothing was worn. And when I went to pick up my clothes after the semi-finals, the head stylist, Laurie Smith, came to know that I was in the building, and she wanted to meet with me. And so we just had a meeting in the canteen with all my clothes, and she said, I just love everything, and I want to start working you into the finals and making you a part of the performance.
That's just nuts, isn't it? I mean, that's just nuts. Tell us about your background. Where are your parents from?
My parents own an Asian clothing store called Variety Silk House. Some of you may know of it. It's based in West London, and my grandparents actually started the store over 50 years ago in Kenya. So growing up, I've pretty much been born into the fashion industry, although I've seen it from a very Asian perspective, but it has given me a really strong understanding of the business, and it's definitely taught me a lot. We've starred a lot of celebrities. We've worked with you as well.
It's celebrities and me, because I'm not a celebrity, so you've just celebrities and jokers like me have got involved as well. But away from that, now so they're East African Gujaratis.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your background. And of course, it would have been hypocritical of them to say, Nikita, no, you can't go into fashion, go and be a doctor. You never had to have that conversation, obviously.
No, when I was studying at school, I was really into my maths and economics as well as my arts.
Right.
And when I was thinking about higher education, I was seriously considering maths and economics or fashion. So, but then...
Couldn't be. That's two pretty wide ends of the spectrum, yeah.
Yeah, and I was seriously considering the finance world, because it's good in terms of stability and your career, and I just had a thing
and
with
the
numbers.
Gujarati community would be happy with you going to finance. That would be a good thing.
But then when I was looking at the universities, I just felt my heart wasn't truly into it, even though my mind would be able to function with the studies. It was my mom that told me that I should go into the fashion industry, go and study fashion. And it was crazy because I went to a really academic female school, so at the time it was a bit of a shock. All my tutors, even people in the community, they were a bit confused as to why I would leave what I had, my academics and my A-levels, and go into the arts,
into fashion, of all things. Now that you've gone into the fashion world, albeit at a very early stage, but in a very high profile way, who are you getting advice from to to make sure that you're not kind of sucked into the whole bizarre showbiz side of it?
Yeah, I've been getting advice from London College of Fashion, and I've been talking to PR companies. My uncle Raul owns Exposure. I'm going to talk to him to get some advice. I've just been talking to it's just happened overnight over the weekend, so I'm still absorbing everything. But I really want to...
Were you there, by the way?
I was. I have a little story to tell you about that.
Go on, tell.
So on Saturday, the first part of the finals, I wasn't actually sure if Amelia or Little Mix would be wearing my clothes, because the X Factor often request a lot of clothing and you don't know what's going to end up on the stage. So on the Saturday, they did commission me to make 28 of the silver harnesses, which was my first commission as a young designer. And my first paycheck was from the X Factor, which is pretty crazy.
Yes, that is amazing. It's not Romford Market, is it? Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay.
So I went to the studios. I went to Wembley Arena on the Saturday to do a bit of fitting onto the harnesses, because the dancers were all different sizes, and I just made a generic size. So I went in to fit it onto them properly, and then I left the studios. I went home to go and watch the show. And when I was there at the studios, I was told that the pink dress I actually made for her, it was requested by Laurie Smith and Amelia. The dress was from my graduate range, and they requested it in baby pink for Amelia. But when I went there, I saw that it was on the reject pile. It wasn't planned to be. I know, it wasn't planned to be on the show. And it was worn by Amelia in the dress rehearsals, but the ITV producers said that it wasn't appropriate for a family audience because it was quite short the way I'd cut it initially. Right.
That's interesting, because there were some fairly revealing things worn by other people in it. I'm not quite sure it was... Yeah, that's weird.
So I was like, okay, it's not a problem, it's fine, it's just how the industry is.
Yeah.
And I went home to go and watch the show, and they called me back at 7 o'clock, and the show starts at 8. And the wardrobe team called me, and they said, Amelia, Lily wants to wear your dress. Can you come back and let's just make it work? And what had happened is they'd given her an alternative pink fluffy dress, and she said, no, I'm going to wear Nikita Karizma's dress that I wore at the dress rehearsals. So the X Factor team gave me 3 seamstresses and an hour to do a fitting on Amelia, and the whole tutu, the whole bottom of the skirt was changed. We put about 5 layers of net, cut everything,
just to make it slightly longer.
Yeah, much longer. We put a trail onto it, and it was a bit tricky because of the time pressure and such a high-profile show, and being so close to her performance. Because we put a trail on it. Amelia wanted it shorter, so we cut it. We pretty much cut it and fitted it onto her right before she walked out onto the stage.
Wow.
And I pretty much watched her. Yeah, I was sitting in Amelia's dressing room as she was on stage wearing my dress.
That's just amazing.
It was crazy, really crazy.
What equipped you to be able to deal with that kind of pressure? Doing graduate fashion shows, was it an equal type of pressure, or was this something very unique? I mean, obviously it's unique, it's the X Factor final, but I mean, in terms of the zone that you put yourself into when you were facing such pressure, where did that experience come from?
Definitely from studying at London College of Fashion, and also being the daughter of my parents earning for IT Silk House, because we've often faced short segments of our life where there's a crazy amount of work. Even leading up to the X Factor finals, we got told on Monday about the order of everything, and I wasn't going to start working until I'd received a deposit and a definite yes from the team. So from Monday night till Thursday night, in 3 days, we'd organised, arranged the production and bought all the materials, and my house was crazy. We slept about 5 hours a night, and this wasn't just me, this was myself, my family, 2 of my uni friends moved into my house, and 3 more. I borrowed 3 staff from my parents' store to help me, cut, make, trim, everything, get it all ready. I know.
but it was, I mean, it's the chance of a lifetime. You just can't mess it up, can you?
Exactly.
How do you deal with stress?
How do I deal with stress?
As a 23-year-old recent graduate of London College of Fashion, dressing future pop stars on one of the country's biggest TV shows.
I don't really see it as stress. I see it as a blessing. So for me, it isn't something that I should be thinking, oh my god, what do I do? Panic mode. And I've also never seen celebrities as celebrities. I don't get fazed by fame. So for me, I see it as work and working with people. And
was she nice?
Yeah, she was really nice.
She didn't have any diva moments?
No, even Marcus and Little Mix, they were all really lovely to work with. And oh my gosh, the X Factor team as well. The fashion industry can be a little bit pretentious, as you know, but they were lovely. They were really, really sweet to work with.
Right.
People.
Okay, Devinder's on the line. Good afternoon, Devinder.
Hi, Nihal. How you doing?
I'm very well, very well. Thank you for ringing up today. What made you want to pick up the phone, Devinder?
Well, Nihal, I actually go on the Sonia Dior show. She calls me like the Asian Got Gwan.
Oh.
So I work in the fashion industry, and I've been on the Sonia Dior show like 3 times. I was just on there recently.
Oh.
You know, I go into the studio and I meet up with her. But I'm just ringing because I obviously listen to Sonia Dior, and if I've got time, I will try and listen to as much, you know, of the show I can. And when I found out Nikita was on the show, I just wanted to ring as an Asian designer myself. But I'm not a garment designer like Nikita. I'm more textiles. And so I'm just really ringing, firstly, to congratulate her, because I know how hard it's been in the industry. I've been in it a lot longer than she has. However, I just want to say, you know, really well done, Nikita. I'm on your website right now. It looks amazing. And I think it's really on trend, especially with the whole Gaga thing going on. And, you know, looking at your website, I just want to say it looks great. You know, it's especially, you know, obviously the Riot collection that you've got on your website. And, yeah, so I'm just really ringing, just as a fellow designer, just to say well done, because, you know, when I was on the Sonia Dior show, we did talk about, you know, designers in Asian, you know, designers in fashion and, you know, not, you know, following the typical path, which is what you've just discussed. So, yeah, so I just want to say, yeah, well done. And what are your plans for the future? Because obviously this is a great platform for you. And I would just say, you know, just keep focused, enjoy this time, because it is a hard industry. But I think, you know, sounds like you've got a great foundation. I've checked out your family, the Variety Silk House, your family, and it's great that you've got supportive parents, you know, because I didn't really have that, but I think it's really great that you have, and I think it's brilliant. So that's it, Nihal. I'm just ringing just to say, well done.
Right, from an Asian in fashion to another Asian in
Thank
fashion.
you so much. That was really sweet. Thank you so much.
And he was on Sonia's show. Is that right? Yeah, he's been Sonia's show before. Well, Devinder, thank you for listening to my show as well. It's very nice that you listen to the BBC Asia Network throughout the day. Nikita, tell me about how Asians dress.
Oh my gosh.
And what you think about it.
You mean when they're dressing up in Asian clothing or Western clothing?
No, I just think that generally it's quite interesting. You were talking about your uncle, and your uncle and I have been very good friends for a long, long time. I just want to make that very clear that you're not on this show because I happen to be mates with your uncle. You're on this show because you design clothes for the X Factor, and you fully deserve to be on this show. But he said to me that English women, British women, generally, if you take it as an average, are less stylish than European women, than kind of French and Italian women. How they will dress normally as a kind of mean average of how stylish they are, it's higher. They will not accept the type of clothes perhaps you'll see on the British High Street. Let's break it down now to how Asians dress. Men and women, right? And whether you believe, because obviously you're designing clothes for everyone. You know, you're a fashion designer. But of course, just in the way you're dressed today, and of course this is radio so you can't see it, you've very much got your own style about you, but then you are a fashion designer and you are a fashion student, ex-student, so you know a lot about fashion. Do you believe, this doesn't mean to be a leading question, do you believe that Asian people should concentrate a little bit more on how they dress?
I mean,
because you see a lot of people coming through your family store, and you have done over the years, and of course you live in Harrow, which is a huge Asian community. So when you go out, you must see Asian girls dress, and all kinds of different people dress.
Yeah.
Do you think Asian guys and girls genuinely are quite stylish?
Okay, so I just moved back home from living in central London when I was at university to moving back home in Harrow, and I'd been living out for about 5 years, and obviously you grow up and change a lot and develop a lot when you're at university. And when I moved home, I felt like I really stuck out like a sore thumb now in my environment and my community. But I think in general, people dress accordingly to how they feel, and they express themselves through their clothing. And I don't know, I think people also have a comfort zone with their communities and where they live. I mean, in London, if you take Harrow for an example, there's so many Asians in there that it's almost like a different pocket away from London.
Yeah.
Everything in terms of food, the type of restaurants that are there, the activities you engage with, it's very different to central London.
Do you find that Asian girls give you funny looks because of the dress?
Not funny looks, but they definitely sometimes give me a double take. You know what I'm wearing today? I'm wearing some British flag skinny jeans.
That's a statement right there. You couldn't get any Indian flag skinny jeans today.
Oh my gosh.
Represent.
I don't know what I'd wear on top of that, to be honest.
Well, you know, orange, green and white. I don't know where that would go. You do get a double take, do you?
Depends how I'm dressed. I dress differently as well. I like switching it up. Sometimes more glamorous, sometimes more rebellious. When I was at London College of Fashion, it was brilliant because I could go to uni every day wearing what I felt like wearing, and no one cared because they were all doing the same thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Whilst now I need to sometimes be a bit careful depending on where I'm going. But
well, you can always tell when it's Fashion Week twice a year in London because you get on the tube and there are just people dressed in a way you don't normally see.
It's really inspiring, actually. If anyone has a chance to go to Somerset House, just to walk past it, you'll see the creative hybrid of London and the models and the paparazzi. It's pretty interesting to see.
Now, future for you. You've had this incredible launch pad now. How do you ensure that you go on to be the next Stella McCartney?
That you still invite me back next year.
No, come back whenever you want. Come back whenever you want. You always. We should probably do you as a fashion guru, and you can give advice to people on how to sort out their wardrobes. Perhaps you could be. I don't wish to put poor old Devinder from the Sonia Dior show out of a job, but you know, maybe you could be our very own Gok One.
Anytime. Yeah. Anytime.
So future.
The future. Okay, so the plan right now, which was the plan before the X Factor, is to work on my first commercial and press line to be launched in February. So I'm keeping it in sync with every designer. They launch around Fashion Week, and now that X Factor has happened, I've stumbled across a little hip product with the shoulder spikes on Little Mix. So I'm quickly getting that into production and hopefully going to start getting a few stockists pretty soon. Amazing. 23 years old. Running teams. I heard that you head into the radio world a little earlier than my age, so you can't say that.
Well, been around a little while, but I'm a lot older now, trust me on that, and I look it as well. Now, Nikita, thank you so much for coming in
thank
today.
You very much for having me.
Your website is Nikita, Nikita Karizma, KARIZMA.com. Nikita
Yes, that's right.
.com.
Stay tuned.
So people can find it. Can people get an email just from that website, just to, I don't know, whether they want to congratulate you and say what a great job you did?
Absolutely.
There you go. An Asian representing on the X Factor finals. You should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you so much, Nihal. I really appreciate it.
All right, well, take care, and we'll see you very, very soon indeed.
Definitely. Bye.